Niners head to Philadelphia this week to play the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. The Niners beat the Cowboys 19-12 in a big win. You saw right here. It was at Levi Stadium. With us now to talk about that, what I say is a great win, is Steph Sanchez, a 49 Carats podcast. Thank you for coming in again. For me, Steph, the biggest play of the game was that catch by George Kittle, because up until that point, there hadn't been a big play, at least not a big play for the 49ers that had defined that game. And after he made that thing, I just thought that a lot of people said, okay, this is our destiny now.
Right. Yeah, at the point of that game, the game was tied, and it was late in the third quarter. So that really started the momentum shift in 49ers' favor at that point. And both Kittle and Purdy said after the game that George Kittle wasn't even supposed to be running a route for that one. He wasn't the original play design for that. It was supposed to go to Brandon Ayuk. And so a little bit of improv from both Kittle and Purdy on that. And they just have incredible chemistry at this point, right? Ever since that Week 15 game against Seattle, these two have been on the same page. And look at that. It hit his helmet. You know, the concentration that took, I think it was great. Just
you know, and I thought that Jimmy G and Kittle had chemistry, but this is a one better. You saw Brock roll out to that, and, so I like the ability of Brock to roll out and improvise that play. One of the things that the 49ers, the naysayers have been saying is the 49ers haven't played, they had a cupcake schedule, right? But now they beat the Cowboys. You think some of that criticism will go away?
Yeah, I think so. And, I mean, they've made it this far in the playoffs so far with their third-string quarterback, I might add. So I think all of that criticism is just, people talking.
People talking.
Yeah.
Shouldn't take what you see on Twitter literally, although you have a nice Twitter account, I may say.
I do. Thank you.
Yeah, I like it. So, okay, what about the defense? Because you and I both are big fans of Nick Bosa, an amazing specimen, a huge defensive talent, but we haven't seen a lot of his sacks.
Yeah, as of late, I think he only has one in the last 4 games, something like that. So it seemed like the Cowboys' offensive line were very well prepared for what he was going to be.
But we see interceptions, though. We see the defense still making plays.
Yeah, we do. And Fred Warner as well had an incredible game. He was all over the place. He had one of those interceptions. And who else, what other linebacker do you know can defend a wide receiver one down the seam? I think he did that twice against CeeDee Lamb, and he just made a huge impact in this game. So
we're watching this last play. I don't know what the Cowboys were thinking there. What do you think about Kyle's clock management? Because right at the end of that first half, a lot of people were criticizing it.
I think it's a moot point at this point, right? Yeah. I mean, the 49ers ended up winning, and it seemed like
it's a moot point that Elijah Mitchell didn't step out of bounds, too, right?
That, too. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, I believe he said to Greg Olsen before the game that he was going to be conservative in this one. And, before the half, I think it was more so not wanting to give the ball back to the Cowboys, which at that point I think we can understand because the Cowboys were going to be getting the ball to start the second half as well. So definitely don't want them to double dip on points. So I understand it from Kyle Shanahan's standpoint.
Going into Philly, what do you think the keys are that the 49ers need to do better? Because as the competition has ramped up, the Niners offense is becoming a little stagnant. So what do you think they need to do better?
Well, I think they need to take care of the football, which they did in this game for the most part, aside from the Ray McCloud fumble, and also protect Brock Purdy. I mean, he was sacked twice yesterday, which feels like a big win because the Cowboys are actually pretty good generating sacks. Eagles, however, are the best team, best defense in generating sacks in the NFL. So they're going to have to make sure that Brock Purdy is comfortable and be able to make those plays.
Can Brock Purdy win the NFC Championship game?
I don't see why not. I mean, he has all the playmakers to do it. We saw how Kittle was able to help him out yesterday. We saw Christian McCaffrey. There's just so much talent on this offense that anything can happen.
All right, so Stephanie has a podcast called the 49 Carats Podcast. But if you follow her on Twitter, I love your Nick Bosa impersonation. I'm not going to ask you to do it here. Go to her Twitter page and see it. It's awesome. Thank you for coming in.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Go Niners.
The NFC Championship game will be played on Sunday in Philadelphia. We'll have plenty of coverage leading up to the game.